Good afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. It's Ashram Hours. Have we been quiet? I don't know. Maybe we missed a week. Whatever it is, it's quiet build phase, and it's about to get loud. We've got the co-founder here from Rise, more specifically Rise.Rich, arguably the most Launchpad related innovation coming to market, and I'm really excited to have you on today. We've got eGods, head of marketing at Nirvana, and of course myself, CBO over at Nirvana. I'm whatever you want to call me. Okay, I'm the guy that does everything that our founder said needs help with. So we're living in CBO town at the time. How's the lighting? How's the sound? Everything humming? There's nothing worse than getting right into it and then you find out you got fuzz. What do we got?
Everything's good.
How are you guys doing?
Okay, I'm talking. Yo.
Yeah, for example, my face is. There you go. Better. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, good. Can't complain. Pretty crazy in the run up to the launch.
Yeah, how's founder life? You've how many companies have you founded now? 5 maybe over the years?
5, yeah, something like that.
Serial entrepreneur, balding as evidence. But look, one of the main things that I think is exciting to highlight here is that anyone watching, you're like, oh, Nirvana, we know about them. They've got this thing. But what a lot of people don't know is that our co-founder, or sorry, our founder, Thomas, Sid online, he's built out this tech stack as an infrastructure layer. And Polaris is a team building on Ethereum. And I just read their bull case, excited about them. They sound dope. Very similar mechanic, a little bit going on under the hood, bonding curve, floor price. And they talked in depth about how they spent 2 years building it. And that's about how long it takes to build that kind of infra. And we have built it. And so we're taking it and putting it into this kind of SaaS layer environment. So teams, founders, builders like yourself, you don't need 2 years. When did you start building Rise.Rich?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think, I don't know, like 5-6 months now?
Yeah, it's like October, right? And so you're going to see today, guys, we're going to take you all through the demo. The app is pretty much prod ready. It's right in that point. It's audited. It's going from DevNet to mainnet. Some final QA, some bugs as software goes. And we're going to demo it today and you'll see. And it's just, I don't know, it's just mind blowing to me to get to where you were in October or September. We'd like to build this. And then you guys will see today what they've built. And it's incredible. And the fact that you were able to just essentially put a program wrapper around this infra layer that we've built. So 99% of this stream is like, check out Rise.Rich. 1% is like, hey, by the way, this infra layer exists for anyone with a creative, brilliant idea that doesn't want to get bogged down in the nitty gritty of infrastructure because, not even being a dev, I can just vouch for the amount of stuff I see Sid working on all day. Like the infra is the not fun part. And you guys just got to get right into it and say features. So just want to highlight that today. And you guys you're first to market on this. So really excited to share with you what we got today.
Yeah, it should be cool. I mean, interestingly, there was still tons to do with regards to even the infra and stuff on like the different side of infra. When it comes to all these things that we're building from scratch, even the chart had to be totally different because we've got a floor and a candlestick chart, which people are going to love now.
Yes.
So all of that was pretty much from scratch, and had to get our heads around all these bits. But we're there now, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah, and to be clear, I was not at all suggesting it was easy. They just spun it up. But my God, but I think you could correctly agree that if you had to go back to square one and invent the whole fucking math of the bonding curve, it's like, good luck. If it was easy, it would have, So I'd love for you to share today a little bit about your experience with building. With Sid on this, just give us a little snapshot of like, what did that process look like? How easy, how hard, friction points, stay positive, but no, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, but like, just, I don't know, there's a lot of builders out there. It's build season in the Bear. If you exist today, you're either a like hardcore builder, founder, deep conviction, or you're a crackhead. Like there's only 4 people types left in here. And so maybe shed some light on your experience thus far building this out, and then we're going to demo the shit out of it. I'm really excited to just show it off.
Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, without just going rambling for ages about that experience, because I think people want to see what we built and see this floor hit like crack finally, and the way everything works. In general, the experience was pretty good, pretty fluid. Conversations were, I guess, as you'd expect. You're just trying to build something novel, something different. There's going to be clashes of opinions, but then just come to resolutions to figure out what the right way of working with the AVM tech is for this particular instance and for this particular kind of version of it. So yeah, no, in general, can't really complain too much. It's been pretty fluid, and the team's been getting responses. Even just now, we've with Sid away at a conference, he was still responding, which is really useful, obviously, because we're bloody deploying on mainnet.
I laid you up for an opportunity to compliment how nice it was to have support from me, but I'm going to let that slide.
No, I mean, RT was.
I'm going to let that slide.
Bit of a bottleneck.
You know, I've been insulted on live TV before.
Dude, you asked about Sid, but I mean, if we didn't get a hold of Sid, you were a phone call away, and you did help on that front. So yeah, I can't complain from that side.
I believe I called you at 1 a.m. yesterday to help solve the problem. Look, the point is, you're building within a family, and there's this compounding effect where, the major blocker, and it has always been the blocker, and it should be the blocker, is that we have built something that either has never existed in its current form or has never worked in a form that was attempting to be like it. Name something that said we have a minimum guaranteed floor price that didn't end badly. I cannot name any. And then still fresh in people's minds, things like Luna. It's like, oh, it's this thing. Obviously, that was different. It didn't have a floor; it just had a horrible design. Shout out to like the 8 people who shorted it and got rich. But like, when you tell somebody that here is a price that is guaranteed, that is that is locked in, it's hard to get over that hump. And so you guys coming to market, Anna being at market, Samsara coming to market, the more this idea gets out there, because what I usually ask people that really spins them for a loop, they're like a little skeptical. And I say, what if it did work? You're sitting here in this mindset of like, oh, that probably won't work. And then it's just like, okay, put that aside. What if it did work? What if you had an asset that had a mathematically, algorithmically guaranteed minimum redeemable price where 100% of the supply could be redeemed at that price? Unlocking things like interest-free, liquidation-free credit, indefinite credit, obligation-free credit. You don't ever have to come back. The protocol does not rely on you ever paying it back. Yeah. Just like suspend skepticism for a moment and ask yourself, what would that be worth? What kind of things could be built around that? Could it be margin for a perp exchange? Would it be good margin for a borrow lend? An asset that has that property in it. And then people's minds really start ticking. And so the challenge, as ever, with new tech that kind of breaks the mold, is to just prove it. And as luck would have it, it works so damn well that no one's ever sold into the floor for Nirvana. Because when you have something that can redeem 100% of supply, it's stupid to sell it at the floor because you're selling it at a point where it could never go lower. Yeah. What is going to be interesting with what you're building, because as memes go, they get hot, then they die. They get hot, then they die. It's headline memes. People want to move on. And so I think we are going to finally see the true core value prop of our tech demoed extensively on your platform.
You're going to hit the floor on mainnet. That's going to be the funny part. The floor's only ever been hit in dev. Now finally we're going to be hitting.
Yeah. Look, that was the best we could do. I was like, look, we gotta show that it works. And since nobody in our community is I want to say dumb enough, but just like they all understand how it works, so they don't even bother selling to the floor. So we had to spin it up on DevNet twice, and we nuked it into the floor. Black Swan, worst we could possibly do, and the floor actually just went up because the fees go into the floor. So it actually, But then everyone says, okay, what about with real money? Well, tune in whenever you guys launch. I don't want to say any dates, but it's soon, and we're gonna just demo it today. It's maybe it's time to get into that. Gods, before we get going, any thoughts? I always take over the mic on these things because I just
I'm letting you run with it, and I'll
you know
jump
what I mean.
in.
But
Yeah, no, I'm really stoked for Rise, Sahan, and what you guys have been building. The market and the ecosystem is kind of ripe for a disruptor when it comes to the trenches. Everything's pretty fatigued. People are desperate out there. It seems to be the only people left. There's no retail. It's just bundlers and rugs. Just a small group of algorithms and bots fighting over for market share between launch to launch. So, but yeah, as you mentioned, Colin, like this type of product, the protocol itself with the floor, the AVM, it sounds too good to be true to a lot of people because it hasn't been implemented before. So, getting you guys now out, Rise, having this demo, I think it's going to make people into a lot of believers. So,
yeah,
let's switch over.
the timing is interesting, right? Because I don't know if it's because of my algo, because I liked one post or I commented on one thing, but yesterday I went down my feed, and it like the hot thing right now is like everyone trying to figure out, well, identify what sucks about the last remaining bastion of this casino we love. And then even to the point where founders of different ones were like, hey, let's all get together and pick features and stuff. And the comment I made yesterday is like, the problem is so fundamentally flawed. And I think Beast captured this really well in a tweet yesterday, where he basically says, like anything, it's a game. The game gets solved. It turns into a hyper efficient solution, much like poker. It evolves over time until the sharks eat the minnows, and then the game kind of dies because there's no fish at the table. Whatever it was a great tweet that really highlighted this. And so the point I put out on Twitter yesterday was like, tweaks, a couple of this, move a few percentages around, some incentives. It's not going to fix the fundamental problem, which lately is that it's more profitable to deploy 1,000 tokens a day and do nothing with them, than it is to like put some heart and soul and weight and energy into a singular good idea. And I guess the last piece I would point out about that, which is really more of a Sahan point, is that this is not meant to be a forever meme coin launchpad. You guys have ambitions that stretch well beyond that. The meme coin launchpad GTM is more about low friction. This is what people know. This is the problem that's very prevalent. So we're going to show a solution. Do you want to touch just very briefly on some future aspirations, things like more legitimate launches that could just be built on this same tech, to expand sort of the horizon of what we're about to demo?
Yeah, I can go on forever about this. First off, obviously I need to give a shout out to the team. Roro, Odo, Paswaf, my co-founder, man, it's been unreal working with them in general. It's just been fluid. Roro and Odo are like the best devs on Solana, full stop. I don't care what anyone says. It's just been ridiculously fast. Everything we needed, wanted, it's just been, even when we've said like, it doesn't matter, we don't need this yet, and they've just done it the next day, because like there's just such a passion to get this right in the first place. So what you guys are going to see is like as polished as it can get with the time that we had and the funding, etc. But all I can say is it's just been ridiculously a pleasure to work with these guys. And then to lead into your like point with regards to what we're trying to do, everyone's working together with a vision to make this like a truly kind of different game changer in the entire space, not just the meme coin. The whole point of this meme launchpad, or permissionless launchpad, you want to call it, is to just prove the whole concept in the most volatile, extreme manner. Like you can hit the floor as much as you want. You can go to the 1K market cap, come back down, go to 5 billion. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep hitting the floor. We're going to go to the extreme with this. And then once people are desensitized a little bit to it, and they've kind of come to the realization that this is real, this is not a lunar moment, this is not bullshit, then we can go into the real cool iterations of like this product. Like
what else could you do? Exactly. Yeah.
ICMs, etc. If you're a true revenue generating project, imagine you launched a token on Rise, you raised money through that, you never needed to sell a token in order to be able to pay for operations. So you could have your allocation at the beginning that even we could lock for you, and just kind of prove to the entire community that you will never be able to sell for 2-3 years, but you can still get money to pay for operations. It's never been possible before because we haven't had this floor situation.
Obligation-free credit.
Exactly.
Borrow to exit.
And then when you lead on from that into buybacks, so you're revenue generating, you're putting whatever, 100K a week in buybacks, those buybacks are not wasted. If you think about Hyperliquid, you think about Pump, you think about all these tokens that have buybacks that are just down only, well, Hype not.
For now.
It can be.
Well, look, Hype is a great example of how buybacks work, but I think it's upwards of $700 million that they've put into buybacks, and it's like a 3x from launch. Not hating on Hyperliquid. Not hating.
Let's imagine that 700 million gave them $350 million in operation.
Without hurting or extracting anything from the whole process.
Anything, you're raising the floor for all holders. It's a PVE situation. Wag me, everyone borrows off the floor. Floor keeps rising. We keep buying back, and then on top of that, their early buybacks could have been profitable. So if they were buying back at $5, $10, $15, whatever it is, and now it's at around 40, I think they'd be 3x up or 50% up or whatever you want to call it on those initial buybacks, which they can just keep borrowing against, which is pretty nuts when you think about it.
Yeah, and so we'll show this in real form in just a moment. But one of the things I want to point out too is the reason that floor concepts have never worked in the past is in many cases, they were human managed. So they say, hey, we have this treasury of reserves and we're going to promise a certain minimum value that we'll keep propping it up. But humans fall asleep. Humans make mistakes. And oftentimes these reserves were made up of volatile assets themselves. And so you have this correlated move where like AVAX, Bitcoin, and Sol crash at the same time. And suddenly, the thing that was backing those reserves loses value all at the same time. Another piece is if this floor cannot redeem 100% of the supply, let's just say, I think a recent example was that FWOG thing, FWOG, right? And it was this idea that, hey, we have these 5 and 10% obscene buy and sell fees, but it's okay. Those fees are going to go into this, perpetual bid that's going to live somewhere on the chart. If that bid does not have enough to redeem 100% of the supply, it actually acts as an iceberg order. And for those of you who are not familiar with an iceberg order, it's a massive order or bid or sell that sits in a book. And typically, as physics go in markets, it is a magnet for price. And so what you get is this bid that's supposed to be a floor, which you'd think would give people confidence to buy. But in fact, it gives people this feeling that, oh my God, that's not going to redeem the whole supply. I better get out now before that bid runs out. And the real unlock with the AVM, the assured value machine, the core bonding curve tech that's underneath this and everything we build, is that it quite literally is able to redeem the entire supply. And some of the key reasons it can do that is because the whole supply came out of it, right? So every token exists because somebody bought it with USDC or Sol, and therefore it has a full view on the entire thing. So enough about this. Let's show how it looks. Oh wow, nice. RT with hat, real nice. We didn't plan that part. Okay, so let me give it to you. You are going to go from 0 to 100 on what it looks like to show up to rise.rich and create a token.
Cool. I mean, I guess let's make it fun for the users a bit because we've just been looking at create token for a while. But in general, yeah, I mean, everyone's seen this part. People know how launchpads, etc., work, and we can get into the fun of breaking this thing and going into the floor, etc. But yeah, let's launch RT. So at the beginning, we're going to be launching with Solana and USDC as backing tokens. And we can do what we want. This is beneficial to us for the demo as well because Solana on DevNet is basically impossible to come by. So we can use the USDC faucet. Creators can choose how much of their fees they want to martyr to the floor. So they can decide to actually, remove all of their fees and just go straight to the floor, and the floor receives a bunch of the fees, and then put your.
So yeah, just to clarify, buy, sell, borrow are the 3 forms of fee revenue that comes in, and if the fee goes to the floor, it goes into that reserve part of the asset. And as floors rise, as you'll see here, that actually increases the borrow and credit capacity for everyone holding the token. So there is some benefit to maximizing the amount of the fee that goes to the floor, but creators are creators. They got a lot of clout. They got bills to pay. Maybe they want some of it for themselves. You've created a slider so they can go like all in on community, all boats rise together, everything goes to the floor, or they could pull some more aside for themselves. The floor can also rise through demand as well, but just to highlight the choices you make as you create. So you've made this one all to floor creator,
Yeah.
the benevolent creator for demo one. Okay, let's go.
So we've got our token created. We can start trading this baby.
And point out, what is that green candle? As you created, you set a bid, so you auto buy while you create?
Yeah, so you can create, can buy with the initial creation. So
they can't be sniped.
Token. Not before creator buys, but I mean, creator can decide not to buy. But in general, you see them buy. So I bought $500 of the token. Every token starts at 0.1%. So we've already got a floor that is 30%, no, 300% above starting price. That is immediate. Floor is rapid. There you go. Look at this. So within a second, the floor will keep pumping from.
And just full transparency, we have 5 of us, 3 on the stream and 2 others from our team who are just participating in this on the back end to give a little bit more depth and sense of like what real trading activity could look like. So I'll just buy 300. So I just bought, I can't show my screen. I just bought $300 worth and I can already borrow out $172. That's kind of cool. So native, built right into it, access to obligation-free credit.
Yeah. So my buys, I did a little bit more of a buy. So I think I'm net like 750 in minus 90. So like whatever, 600 and something in, and I can already start borrowing and I'm profitable.
What's that pink line on the screen?
That's the floor, baby. So the floor comes in immediately from day one, from second one, not day one. And it will just rise with every buy, making it rug proof. You even saw from the first buy, the floor rose, so you can't rug people, but we'll go into that later on and really test this baby out.
I just bought 5K. I'm a whale now. Okay, so the floor didn't move up instantly now. What's the timer? 30 seconds? It slows?
Shouldn't have slowed yet.
I believe it's instant to start, right? And this is bundler protection, BS, early rug protection. We want to solve. There it goes. And so again, each time that floor ticks up, by design, it moves in one direction. When there's enough liquidity in the bonding curve for it to move up, such that it could redeem every token in supply at that price, that's the only time it'll move up. And when it moves up, it never moves down. It's a point at which 100% of supply could be redeemed at. And so that's why you have this concept of a floor that can only rise. It can go sideways, but it can never go down. And we'll prove that in this demo. We'll demo that. That's probably my favorite part.
Let's tap into it.
No, I want to buy
too
more.
Early? You want to keep buying?
Yeah, let's get a little spicier. I got $53 million of fucking testnet token. Enriching me, sir.
Now I've bought about 50,000 worth. If I just sell that all in one go as an example, do you guys want to see what that would?
Okay, look, I see you looping. Sahan, can you talk about the instant access to leverage, liquidation-free leverage, and looping?
Yeah. So even from the first buy, creators can loop their exposure to the token as the floor rises so instantly. So I just borrowed just over $1,000 on top of my buys. I can still borrow more if I wanted to.
Do it. Max borrow.
Max borrow.
Max loop that shit.
Oh, gee. You keep pushing the floor, so it's just giving me new quotes on the floor.
Yeah, so every time the floor rises, borrow capacity for every token holder increases. And you can borrow and buy more, borrow and buy more. Now, I want to be clear on this. It is non-liquidatable because it only allows you to borrow up to the floor. And as you'll see soon, the price can never breach the floor. So
nuke the floor. Let's see my debt just sit there and not.
But the point I'm trying to make is that while it is non-liquidatable leverage and looping, it is not without risk. If you max loop and then the price is at the floor, your account equity will effectively be zero. So like there's no magic tricks here. If you want accelerated upside, you have accelerated downside as well. But the key differentiator is you will never be liquidated. In fact, there's not even a liquidation engine because it is a closed loop system. It has full view. So it's just worth mentioning. There's people that are like, hey, I levered up and then it got near the floor. And now if I unloop, I have like next to $0. Well, that's how leverage works, boys and girls. But without the liquidation part.
So let's nuke it into the floor.
Okay. I'm gonna nuke the shit out of it. I'm selling all max sell.
I think what will be interesting is if we nuke it into the floor, I'll repay my loan and then sell into the floor again.
Sold. Yeah, there we go.
I sold everything I have. I didn't have enough to
hit it.
No, I hit it. I think.
No, we're still slightly above. Any of the other guys? No. Some other guys.
Told you I needed to buy more.
Let's get some other guys selling into it. Anyone else?
I've sold.
Floor has been hit. So now we have floor price. I've never been liquidated. I'm good. My position's just chitting there. I can actually borrow more. We've hit the floor, and I can actually even borrow more if I wanted to.
Okay, borrow more because the floor must have gone up since your last max borrow.
So I can borrow some more.
Keep borrowing.
And then I can just show repaying all of that loan actually. And then dumping that into the floor on live on my screen so that people can see that there's no price impact. So let's repay this loan.
So you're unlooping.
Mm-hmm.
Repay. So, another key facet of this is when you borrow, you're essentially locking your tokens as collateral against that borrow. And as such, the system offers you borrow capital up to the floor value of the tokens you just locked. And so there's all this free floating cash out there, but it's backed by locked tokens, and not locked in the sense of a 1 month, 1 year lock. They're simply locked until the loan's repaid. And then as soon as the loan's repaid, you will demo now. You can just sell the shit out.
Before I do that, let's highlight here. We have zero price impact. We are sitting on the floor. Doesn't matter.
So you're selling as much as you want, and there's zero price impact because
you can't go below the floor.
The AVM is a bid. Protocol is your counterparty. There's no LPs. There's no market makers. There's no dependency on a human being awake. The protocol is there with exactly the enough liquidity to redeem 100% of the supply at any time.
And we can keep slowly selling into this and get the same price.
I'm out of tokens. I feel left out. I want to sell more into this floor. Let's just do it. Let's end this first demo with 100% of the supply being sold.
Okay.
So if you guys have anything else that goes for you two on the side here. Full nuke, full nuke, full nuke. Sell it all.
Sold.
I have nothing left. Yeah.
Okay. And our two side traders, I'm assuming you're listening and you're also.
Someone just pumped it.
Who's buying? Who's buying? No.
Oh man, I love it.
But look at that. The first buy.
The
first buy instantly brought the floor up even a little more.
So before previous all-time high, we have risen the floor.
Yeah.
Before even halfway to previous all-time high.
So worth pointing out that if someone hadn't sold all, we tried to sell all, somebody fucked it up. Who was it? But before that, anyone who just didn't participate in that sell-off and said, I believe in this token, I'm going to hold it. That first buy that came back in, lifted the floor, that person who never sold, their borrow capacity just increased again. And I think that's one of my favorite takeaways of this, because in meme coin world, PvP, I got to sell before someone else sells because someone else is going to sell. And that's where it's kind of collapsed into now, whereas it's like, I think average hold time is like 47 seconds. It's disgusting because you don't know where the bottom is, and it's usually zero. In this case, you just say you put in $1,000, this price. The floor exceeds your entry level. Now you can literally borrow out the cash that is, say you get your 1,000 back. You haven't sold anything. Now the floor goes up some more. say it doubles. You take another 1,000 out. You still haven't sold anything. You have 100% upside exposure to this token, but you've already taken out 2 times the money you put in. And in doing so, you have done nothing that is extractive or harmful to any of the other holders. The protocol supports that in such a way that it doesn't hurt anybody. So you maintain 100% exposure to this meme coin. Because what's one of the biggest things you hear on Twitter, right? There's either like the guy who's like, hey, look, I made all this money because I bought it and then it went higher. But most of the posts are like, oh, fuck, I sold it over here and now it's all the way up here. When you have tech built like this in Rise.Rich, you can borrow to exit. You have 100% upside forever on this token, and you've already been drawing out your profits, which can be rolled into the next shitcoin you decide you like. And so the rotation game, the capital efficiency, again, 0 interest forever on all these borrows and 0 liquidation risk. The floor is going bananas. Okay, you guys are giving me film. I'm buying more. I can't sell if I didn't buy.
Maybe.
I thought we agreed we were going to nuke the floor, guys.
Well, I mean, interestingly, I was trying to highlight while you were speaking that we hit 0 market cap because we managed to deplete the entirety of the liquidity in the floor.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
We sold every single token. We got to 0 market cap. Obviously, this hasn't refreshed since. And now you guys are pumping the living hell out of it. But
oh, okay. I know who that was. Foxter. No, I'm just kidding. Jesus Christ. Who's doing this? Anyway.
But yeah, there you go. So we can launch another one to show some other antics, like what you were saying with the borrows, etc. What I can do is I can create a token and then just do an initial buy and be that creator that doesn't hurt his follower base or holders or whatever.
Yeah, if you could go back to that chart one last time, there was one final takeaway that I had written down that I think is really interesting to point out. So as you saw back there at that other red candle, what we effectively did is we sold 100% of the supply. So the floor did its job, didn't move, didn't budge. 100% of the supply was redeemed. Market cap 0, supply 0. Anybody who buys that token, because the token's still there, ready to be minted again. But if you bought it at the floor, what's your downside risk?
0.
Because you know that the protocol is sitting there to redeem whatever is below that 100%. And so when it comes to things like you hear about this, like CTO, like, oh, the deployer, pumped and dumped it, they extracted, they left, but the meme's awesome. So the community wants to stick around. They're going to CTO this shit. Anytime one of these tokens gets left alone and left in the wind or just hits the floor, touches the floor, a buyer stepping in, the asymmetry, that risk reward explodes to infinity. I mean, if if the minimum price is $1 and you buy it at $1, the protocol's there to buy it back from you for $1 at any time. So that asymmetry that just keeps reemerging anytime one of these tokens hits the floor is an insane cyclical unlock that, again, doesn't exist anywhere else, can't exist anywhere else.
You virtually get the same risk as a creator again. If you buy the
you become the new creator. You're like, okay, the market cap is 0 because 100% of the supply was burned, but I'm going to step in and now I'm the creator and my asymmetry is near infinite. So anyways, fucking cool. Let's go. Demo 2.
Let's go. You got a token.
So Demo 2, we wanted to highlight a slightly different scenario where the deployer, which is going to be you, is going to demonstrate their ability to just borrow to exit. Mm-hmm. So you've deployed a coin, you buy it at deployment, and you never sell, but you don't have to, and we're going to show why.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the main things that my algo apparently is addicted to right now, I see every single day, it's just like it's become more profitable to deploy 1,000 tokens for $200 or $400 gain. Like the deployer meta has just become like launch, dump, leave, launch, dump, leave, launch, dump, leave.
To launch tokens and it is to actually trade them, which is
exactly, which is
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's like an insanely structural fucking problem, right?
Yeah.
So what we wanted to highlight in demo 2, which is our eGods token, is that you've just deployed. How much did you buy at deployment?
$2.5 grand.
Okay, stop buying. You're not allowed to buy anymore.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
buy.
Now, if we go in and start buying it up, you're able to borrow more and more and more without ever selling, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to go to the eGods token now.
I already have like 2,100 I can borrow against.
I love eGods. So I came in, I saw this token launch. I want to buy some. Big fat price impact, 200% gain. Boom. Now, as the deployer, watch your borrow. What did you put in to start?
2,500.
Oh yeah, the floor is going to take a sec. Okay, there it goes.
You guys are pushing this, man. There you go. I'm in profit.
Okay,
Well
so
over
you deployed a token.
83x.
You instantly bought $2,500 as part of your deployment, and you already could take out 7,000. Oh, 11. Yeah. Right. So the point is, as the deployer, you are in deep profit, and do it. Borrow.
There you go.
Take that fucking profit.
And so I haven't hurt the chart. I haven't hurt anyone. Haven't dumped into anyone. Haven't rugged. Haven't scammed.
You didn't sell a token.
Made money.
In fact, you paid a fee to make that borrow. So if anything, you contributed to the floor of the whole community's token itself.
Yep.
And you still own 100% of those tokens that you deployed. And anytime the floor goes up on this token in the future, you can keep borrowing more out. So it flips the incentives on its head. It's not a rush to see how quickly I can sell out of this to make money. It's almost more like, now I really want to stick around and promote this because I've got my deployer bag. And every time there's excitement, even on sell-offs, there's fees that go into the floor and rise that borrow capacity for you as the deployer. It's fucking insane, dude.
Mm. The front end's lagged on the floor, but we'll catch up. I think you've
30-second, isn't it? 30-second instant.
Yeah, you've hit it to cooldown mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So initially, explain that to us. Initially, for some period of short period of time, it's instant. So and then it graduates to a 30-second.
Exactly. Yeah. So
help us understand that.
So there are inflow levels we have, and depending on the amount of inflows, the floor starts slowing down to mainly add for a bit more two things, a bit more speculation between the floor and the market price. As you can see now, there's a bit of a larger delta. So we don't want to take the tradability of these tokens completely out and have the floor just ridiculously sticky. We do want that at the beginning because we don't want people rugging others.
It's to prevent that bundler rug thing, right? So instant to start solves that problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get to a level of maturity whereby, the token's kind of known, nobody's rugged, it's kind of going into price appreciation, etc. We want that tradability between the market price and the floor price, and then we introduce the cooldown. So the cooldown comes in and starts off at 30 seconds and goes up incrementally to 120 seconds, and then it sticks there. We'll be iterating on this depending on what the community say and what they want to do and what they want to see, and we can keep adapting to how this goes out, because this has never been out in the wild. No one's ever played with anything like this, so we need to take some feedback into the equation and just see how things go in the coming weeks. But that's pretty much how it starts. We've tried to do it in the best way we could envisage people want to trade these assets.
Like zero in on the problems that are the most glaring, come up with the solution that appears most elegant. And as with all tech and software, it evolves. You get your feedback, the experience evolves. And then to your dev team's credit, I will just say this. Sid, my founder, brilliant dev, designed and built all the calculus behind this. Very hard to impress as a dev. I've introduced him to a lot of devs. I'm like, we got to hire more devs. And it's very hard to pass his bar. And when we were out at Abu Dhabi and Breakpoint, and he met with your devs, and after 3 hours of just chatting with them, we were back at our hotel room and I was chatting, and he's like, man, they know their shit. These guys are killers. And I've never heard him say that about devs that I've introduced him to. That's not to say that he doesn't think there's other people out there that could be, but that was a breath of fresh air. And I think the evidence here is that in just a handful of months, these two guys built out this front end that frankly is quite beautiful. And to your point, the iteration speed, I think once post-launch, it is would you say it's safe to say you're going live, but it's going to be this beta form?
Yeah.
Where, live money, there's no caps on it. The underlying bonding curve tech is tried, tested in true audits, multiple audits, live for a year in Nirvana, live for 3 months in Samsara. No concerns there. But as far as front end bugs, little things, feature requests, it'll take some time to harden. And the best kind of way to get there is through community feedback, user experience.
Yeah, exactly that. That's the game plan. And you can see, shout out to Roro and Odo, man, absolutely unreal. Like, you literally mentioned them. I'll put names to the people you were mentioning with regards to who Sid was complimenting. But yeah, this is what they built, and it's unreal. Really responsive, as you can see. Ready to ship.
Oh, who keeps bumping?
That was me.
Sorry, guilty. I bought at the floor. And I think that's just something that, markets, no matter what, they pump, they consolidate, they panic, they dump, whatever. But anytime one of these assets starts to approach the floor, it's, again, your asymmetry, your risk reward is structurally captured. It's like, the big fucking question mark right now is like, where's the market going to bottom? Is Bitcoin going to go to 50K? Is it going to go to 30K? Is it already bottomed? A lot of people yesterday tweeting out, the market's bottomed. I hope it has, but I don't know. Nobody knows. There's not an asset in the world where you could say indefinitely, this is where the bottom is. When you have this structural baked in, if I'm 1% off the floor and I buy, slippage and fees aside, I roughly know my exact bottom. And so they kind of, the asymmetry returns again and again and again. Anytime one of these assets returns into a very low delta next to the floor, you got a brand new trade. You're never late to the next trade. And I think once you have, say, 50 or 100 or 1,000 of these things sitting on your website, you probably want to have like an index page where you could like sort by delta, And so it's just like, I want to scan these and find ones that are next to their floor, and I'm going to be the guy who buys everything near the floor.
Yeah,
or whatever. Like, there's be metas that'll evolve that can't exist anywhere else and haven't yet.
Yeah.
I'm just free floating ideas here. Feature requests. Write that down, Susan. Write that down.
No, don't worry. They're all written. They're all in the plan. Like,
no,
there's so much for sure.
I've been told not to leak anything, so I won't. But you guys have a lot of shit. That's this is just like a beta demo phase opener.
So just to pull back again, because that was what the demo was to show. Buyer didn't sell a thing. Bought his 2.5K, borrowed 11.5K, borrowed another 5.6K, and now can borrow another 13.5K.
Do it.
And the floor has just kept rising, and I've taken my money out, made multiples on my initial, never hurt the chart, never hurt the holders.
So here we have a piece of shit extractor named Sahand who launched a token, bought it at launch, and has now extracted almost whatever that is, 15, 20x the amount you put in. You piece of shit. But guess what? Victimless crime. Nobody's hurt by that. It didn't. The floor didn't get touched. In fact, it went up because every time you borrowed, you paid a fee, and that fee went into the floor. You have done your job. You've launched a token. You've made the meme grow. You've made your nut, and you haven't sold a goddamn thing.
Yep.
I'm so stoked for this product to go to market.
I'm getting it.
I think once it hits with traders, like, it's explaining it to people.
Like, once
they
it
don't
lands,
like, oh, it's too good to be true, or they don't really conceptualize how it works. But once people get in front of it, it just clicks instantly. And
well, that part really hits for me. Like, these serial deployers, it's like, how quickly can I get out? And when they do, it fucks everybody over.
Yeah.
And in what you literally just demoed is that you have gotten out, but you're still in. And forever, every time this floor on this token raises, you can just borrow some more. And so you maintain. So if you're a serial deployer and you deploy 1,000 tokens a day, which I don't recommend, I hate that that's the thing. But just say people decide to come and do that over here. they can do that play and have their little extraction moment while maintaining 100% upside to every token that they've just deployed. So they'd be like, yeah, come CTO my token because I still have that position that I can borrow out from. Extract is the wrong word because it implies that someone else lost something. In this case, you are borrowing out of an area of immutable liquidity that doesn't hurt anyone. So let's just wrap this demo up with this. Everybody sell everything they have except you, Sahand, because you're the deployer. So you've had this never sell. I'm the deployer. I'm never going to sell.
Well, I'm not.
I just want to.
My whole,
you can't. Yeah, you can't sell because you borrowed against your whole
position.
Make
money. Well, actually, dump into the floor and I'll still borrow against it to show that even if everyone dumps, I can still make money.
Okay, hold on. Max your borrow now before we do it.
No, let me do it when it's at the floor because it will.
No, max your borrow now so you can show that you have 0 borrow capacity, and then we're going to nuke it and see if you get more borrow capacity.
I'm not sure it will happen. But
yeah, it may not happen. There may not be enough fees because I didn't buy enough. But let's find out for fun.
We had a transaction exactly the same time, I think. So let's try it one more time.
Yeah, let's see it.
Skabam.
Confirming borrow. Okay, so just go to your borrow now. Let's see. Make sure you have 0 capacity. You already can borrow more. Okay, so the point is, let's say we're all going to abandon this project. Everyone moved on to the next meme. Sahand, you're the deployer. You've already gotten a ton back from this. You haven't sold a token. So let's everybody else just nuke this shit to 0. Actually, I think I already sold all my tokens.
Okay.
Damn it. I don't have anything to sell.
Yeah, but we got 34 grand to go into the floor anyway. So
yeah, everyone sell. Everybody sell. Let's just go 0 supply right back to the floor. As memes go, they lose their flavor. So our 2 guys on the side, everyone participating in this, just get the fuck out. And then let's refresh the page and confirm the market cap literally is just your position, Sahand.
Confirmed, yeah.
Okay. So
where are these guys? They've gone to sleep.
Did they sell?
I've sold.
No, it's just sitting on my borrow. Wake up. Nah, it's fine. I think maybe one's in the loo or something.
Yeah, busted. They weren't even listening. Okay, you guys have 1 minute to do your sells, or I'm going to name names. The idea being that now, say this thing's been abandoned, but you as the deployer still never sold a token, and you couldn't. You've borrowed against it now, so they're effectively locked against it, but you've taken out your debt. Point is, if this ever got CTO'd, if some other group came along and said, eGods is the man, let's CTO this shit, you as the initial deployer still have your position. And if that floor ever rises, you're still set to bank on borrows forever. And the other piece I wanted to point out is that you having extracted in quotation marks, all of that profit from your deployment, it did not prevent any of us from redeeming 100% of the cash we were owed for our tokens.
Yeah.
So can you even call it extraction? We need a new word.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out. Claude, give me a new word. Okay, yeah, we all sold already. So the current supply is Sahan's. So refresh. Let's confirm. Maybe give us a little zoom in on that left thing so everyone can see at home. Like the metrics on the left. So all the supply that remains is the deployer, Sahan's tokens. They're effectively locked.
You know what we're doing? We're being silly.
Well,
this is me.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
So there is some supply left. There is some market cap left, but those are your tokens, and they're effectively locked because you've borrowed. And so unless you repaid, they're essentially just dead money, locked money, but not dead money because you took a bunch out. Go to borrow. I think you can still borrow some more.
I can still borrow some more. Yeah.
Another $24. And so we could call this as dead as a token can get on Rise. And to summarize this demo, you as the deployer, without selling a single token, go to your repay and we'll just see. So you deployed 2.5K?
Yep.
And there was some amount of volume. What was the total volume? 4 million. Buy sell volume totaled around 4 million. There was some growth there. Oh, just a cool 3,000% gain. You didn't sell a single token, but you managed to profit $31,000 as the deployer. And presumably a couple of us traders here buying and selling got some profit out as well. We didn't even, borrow, loop, and leverage, but this is a very small sample to prove the concept that as a deployer, you don't have to be an extractive asshole. You can just access growth through borrowing.
Never ever sell.
And I just should point out too that we could have all done the same thing too. We sold because I really want to send home the point that 100% of supply of any one of these tokens can get nuked into the floor, and the floor doesn't flinch. It's a perfect internal set of calculus in the bonding curve that tried, tested, and true. It just works. And so there is this kind of meta that I could see evolving. You know how these meme coin communities get really fervent. They'd be like, never sell, never sell, never sell. And there's this collective agreement that we're just going to, get our gains through borrows. And then if someone sold, well, now it's next to the floor. Asymmetry explodes to infinity. Next trade.
Well,
when live?
Very soon. You can equally, you're taking tokens out of circulation, right, with these borrows as well. So you kind of away.
Yeah, as soon as you borrow against a token, it effectively becomes locked until you repay. But because it's obligation-free credit, no ongoing interest, no liquidation risk, I don't see a lot of people repaying. There's some cases where maybe I want to repay to get some amount of equity back out and sell the token into the floor. Maybe I'll make, I'm sure there's someone that can do that. But it makes more sense to just take that borrowed profit, maintain 100% of your upside to the token, and take that borrowed profit off to the next meme coin that launches somewhere else on the site.
So someone just pumped it a little again, and I made another $7,000, which I can borrow again.
Shut up.
Let's go.
So the first buy off of the floor after we just basically tried to kill this thing, and your borrow capacity increased 3x what you initially put in, another 7,200. And I cannot stress this enough. You doing this as the deployer and taking out this new money in no way harms anybody in the system or affects its solvency. Solvency is not even a word that, like I said, there's no liquidation engine. Because
and we're only at 25% delta as well because we the entire.
How are we going to get this whole story told in a 3-minute video? Because that's what we need to circulate. There's a lot to say here, but we're going a little deeper on today's demo because everyone's here to watch, and the best way to understand is to see.
So the buyer just rugged as well.
Jerk.
And now I can still borrow. Doesn't matter what happened because the floor has risen forever.
Yeah, because your borrow capacity was not based on that green candle. It was based on that pink line, and that pink line only ever moves sideways or up.
Yep.
And now, once again, if anyone wanted to come in and be bullish on this token, where they buy next to the floor means that there is zero to minimal downside risk because they could sell right back to that level that they just bought at. So asymmetry again exploding to infinity at the floor. We had one other demo lined up that just to really highlight bundler protection. So let's say, because this is a really big problem that happens. So you're going to come in, you're Sahand the bundler. You're a big jerk.
Maybe Fox the bundler because
okay.
That's what he is.
He's a bundling bastard. So Foxter the bundler says, I'm going to create a token. I'm going to buy 10K, so a little more aggressive opener. And then I'm going to try to full stack Hitler, FSH, the whole thing going after maybe 12 minutes. I'm going to try to max extract. So that's your intent. You're not going to borrow to exit. You're going to do the old hat shit that's been plaguing things like Pumped Up Fun and every other fork. If you haven't seen the stats on that stuff, you have, if you're a meme coiner, it's really nasty. And there's no amount of a couple tweaks that's going to fix it. It's fundamentally broken system. And we got into that earlier. So let's pretend you are status quo bundle extractor. And let's see how that instant early floor movement that you guys programmed in protects innocent bystanders like eGods and myself. So you have, so
Floor
that's
is-
your 10K buy, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to come in. Oh, I got to switch. I'm still on the last token. Okay, Foxer token. I'm going to come in. I'm excited. Somebody told me this is going to be the next big thing. I'm going to buy 15K. And my best friend comes in through a separate wallet. Let's pretend he's excited. He saw me go in. He follows me in. He's going to buy 21K. And there's a whole bunch of buys coming in. Oh, man, somebody's really FOMOing. They're going to buy another 25K. Oh, no. And let's give it like 8 more minutes.
8 more minutes?
No, not real minutes. Like, let's say like 150K comes in behind you. Because you have things like FOMO app. By the way, shout out to FOMO app. Really like them. They're a lot of fun to use. It's like a social layer on top of trading. Trojan trading platform or trading terminal. I've been using a lot. I say a lot. I'm working on this, but when I do shitcoin, those are the two that I've been messing with. Okay, so
now we've got the cooldown part. So, I mean,
yeah, we kind of left that zone, didn't we?
Yeah.
The point, I don't think that really changes the fact, although I guess everyone here is.
I mean, this is not going to happen. You're not going to get 150K or whatever of inflows.
Oh, did we fuck it up? Oops.
But yeah, I mean, that's not going to happen. But I can.
So yeah, I mean, I'm a noob. How long do bundlers actually stick around? Like 12 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to know, bro.
Okay, really, you should have quarterbacked this one. I'm not a bundler. I don't know how this works.
But yeah, okay, let's dump it.
You dump it. You're the deployer.
Absolutely crush the supply. Skablan. We didn't even hit the floor. That's how liquid it is. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So that's your that's your max extract. Now, again, to point out, percent off the floor, a couple percent off the floor. You didn't rug it. You tried your best, but you were unable to rug. I am still able to borrow 56K against my like 75K of buys I did, which means even if I didn't sell and I just wanted to borrow to exit, I've only lost 20%.
I could borrow 34K. So yeah, still a good chunk of change.
And if I wanted to sell my whole bag, I'd get 56. Let me add up. So I'm going to sell my whole bag because you're a bundling jerk and you left. So I sell my whole bag. Oh, hardly any price impact because I was right next to the floor. I'm trying to calculate my P&L, but I forget how much I all bought.
It's pretty entertaining, man. Foxter couldn't even rub properly, man. The poor guy.
46. I forget how much I bought. Damn it. I didn't even write it down. Oh, me. Okay, I can see the 3 me's. Okay. You even showed it. Do you show it? See, zoom in on there. So, but it says buy, like, see the trading activity down below? You don't even have to suss out if it's your address or not. It just says literally me.
Yeah, that's me.
I just noticed that. Nice feature. So I total bought 21, 25, 34. That's 69. Ooh, accidental 69. Love it. So I bought 69K worth and you max extracted from me as a bundling jerk. And I still got out with 56K because the floor moved up quickly and protected me from that. Now, I'm not a savant, so I'm going to have to do a little math here.
You had buyers behind you as well, but yeah, I mean, you can even safely assume like if you would have lost 50% or something.
Yeah, even if I lost 50, it'd be a huge difference. But I think I lost something like, I don't know, top of my head, 18, 22%. So point being, I got excited. I rushed into memes, as I always do. You FSH'd the deployer, and my loss was capped at under 30%. Now, I wonder, like you said, there were some other buyers. Maybe one of them got hit harder, but I think it's maxes out around 50%. Like if you buy the absolute highest point where the floor is not rising behind you, and then you're forced to sell at the floor, I believe that delta max is around 55%. A mild improvement on a 99% rug, wouldn't you say?
And then now he's going to CTO this thing.
Yeah. And now you're like, haha, bitches, I'm just kidding. I'm back. 0% risk because I bought at the floor. And look, the floor went out. So anyone who didn't panic when you tried to full stack Hitler us out, their credit capacity just increased. Their borrow leverage loop capacity just increased. This thing is a machine.
Incredible. And look at the amount I borrowed against my I can borrow against my 150 because of the floor raise and everything. Like, that's insane.
You can see why we call this the assured value machine. For those of you who don't know that acronym, the AVM, the AVM, the AVM, it's everything. It lives under Nirvana. It lives under Samsara. It lives under Rise. It lives under everything else that will be built under this product suite. It's an ecosystem. 15% of the fees of any front end that builds to this SaaS layer instantly go back to the Nirvana treasury. We have joined the ANA treasury standard, which is our own making, but essentially we use it to buy ANA tokens because we can access obligation-free credit against those to fund our operations. So it's like buybacks, but Sid doesn't like the term buybacks because we're not buying anything back. It didn't exist. We're minting new ANA into our treasury anytime we make a revenue. And then we're funding our operations by accessing these borrows that we've just demonstrated today, effectively the same thing. So just a quick word on how all of this ties back to the ecosystem, the value capture, but it's less about us today. I just wanted to make that tie back. Do you feel like you've sufficiently demoed the key and core features? You maybe want to check a portfolio page, the discover section. I mean, it's pretty seamless.
All the tokens I've traded.
RT with hat. I might launch that tomorrow just for shits.
Yeah, take my creative fees. The ones with 0 are ones that I haven't. I've put all the creative fees to the floor. You'll see that we have rich dev launches. Foxter is a rich dev. Well, that's a previous Foxter.
What does that mean, rich dev?
Rich dev launch is a launch whereby the creator has given all their fees to the floor.
I like that. So they're saying, I don't need a piece of these fees. I'm rich as fuck. All the fees go to the floor. That's the community-centric launch choice.
Exactly. So these will be your rich dev launches. Nice and big cards here. These are the latest launches. We've got all our trending tokens. We tried to make it as terminal-esque as possible because over time, at the beginning, we're not going to have those terminal integrations, etc. But we're hoping to attract them. But in the meantime, the whole
you should point out, we're in talks with 2.
More than that, 5.
5. I'm in talks. I'm in 2 of those chats, but yeah, basically every trading terminal. I mean, look, based on what everyone has seen today, I think it's fair to say you want to have these things on your trading terminals. Like raise your hand if you're sick of the current meta. I don't even trade meme coins, and I feel like throwing up because my whole algo is filled with the stats, which are disgusting.
Yeah.
And all the solutions I'm seeing being thrown around are just variations of tweaking little fees. And at the end of the day, it's still just going to be this hyper extractive, optimized meta for how many coins can I deploy in a day?
Yeah.
You guys have solved a lot here. I'm super fucking pumped.
Yeah, so we want to, going back to what I was saying about the kind of the UI side of things, we wanted to make it terminal-esque. We wanted to make it easily tradable. We didn't want to make it too confusing. We also wanted to make it more approachable to other languages. So
that's Mandarin?
Yeah.
And you guys have something cooking in the APAC region, right?
Yeah. We're expanding the mind share across the globe. But yeah, so we're language side of things as well.
Probably want to get French in there. Shout out to our devs, and I know we have a large French community inside of the Nirvana community.
Yeah. French and Spanish come in too.
Yep.
And then I mean, you can discover your tokens on the Discover page, see what's hot, what's new, what's trending. Check out your portfolio. But yeah, we wanted to make it trader friendly and as responsive and slick as we could until we get those integrations. But like you said, we're in talk with quite a few big boys as well, and it's just a matter of time when this new mechanism hits, and it hits like crack, and nobody's seen a floor, and nobody's seen a floor like this.
No, well, nobody's seen one that works. And one takeaway I had from that FWOG was that there was huge appetite for it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there was a time, and typically when the markets are a little quiet, every weekend has its meta. It's like, oh, this weekend, rabbit with carrot is pumping. But on this one particular weekend, whenever it was a few months ago, this cow, whatever, I don't know, I don't really follow the guy, but he launched this thing and he says, hey, these things have floors, and they got extremely popular. I think they pumped hundreds of percent. It was like, yay. And then go figure, they crashed, burned. And like I said, that bid that was supposed to be a floor, because it could not consume 100% of supply, it instantly acted as a magnet, and a panic ensues, and a good chunk of holders get stuck holding the bag because they can't redeem at the floor that isn't real. But what my takeaway from that was like, damn, like there's huge appetite for this concept. And I would be as bold enough to say is that we're the first ones that have made it that it actually just works. This is not some LP bid that is manually managed by a human. This is not some, fee, like high fees that just generate some thick bid to give out most of the people's tokens. This is equivalent to a calculator, right? And so when people ask me, they say, well, does it work? Blah, blah, blah. Like, how's the math and this and that, in these situations, all the edge cases. And I think the most graspable comparison, because Sid also gets this. He's like, honestly, I'm bored talking about the floor, because in his mind, as the guy who wrote the calculus, understands the bonding curve, he's built it, he's tested 1,000 ways from Sunday. We've demoed it, crashed it, tried to black swan it. It just works. And he just shrugs. He goes, it just works like a fucking calculator. Trying to break this is like, take a calculator, type in 4 + 4 and get an answer other than 8. If you think you can break that, good luck. Sit there for 1,000 years and type in calculations. They're always going to be correct. That's the equivalent here. That's the math and the algorithm and the design on the back end. And as he said, and as math works. When you've solved the math for the equation, the answer is always the same. And so that's probably the most apt comparison to people who are still trying to grasp the fact that this can be done algorithmically. Because historically, all of these things, these protocol-owned liquidities, it's really just a hedge fund being run on the back end by humans. And those humans are always like, hey, let's take a little bit of money out of the reserve and get some yield over here. And then fucking Celsius happens and fucking, this is immune to all of that. Every token we launch today exists isolated in its own bonding curve. There's no systemic risk profile for everything on the system.
Everything is sandboxed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's
cool.
That's the nuts, the bolts, and the screws, babies. I don't know if I have much else that I wanted to really hammer.
Well, I mean, there was one line you mentioned before we came into this with regards to the bundler side of things, and in reality, bundlers are, like you said, incentivized to borrow instead of exit. Because let's imagine that you bundled the token and you dumped it, and then this is what happened to the chart. Instead, you could have made more money borrowing, or let it be a PVE runner or whatever, and not have to just lose all exposure to the token in the first place.
You're getting paid to hold.
You're getting paid to hold, yeah. Hodl.
That's a good point. Yeah. So like bundlers in their existing form, these serial deployers, which of course everyone is like, you're all fucking scammers, because it extracts, it takes money from everybody who got in. And that's why, sadly, everyone has been really hurt. But the incentives, given the current design of the current systems, is to just keep doing that. And that's a really good takeaway point here. You're incentivized to borrow to exit as that launcher, deployer, bundler, because then, even if you go and move on and you do launch 1,000 tokens a day, you've gotten a little bit of profit out of each one, but you maintained 100% of your token upside to each one. So it's like profit without giving up your moon bag. And for guys like me who never trust these meme coins, every time I trade them, like I make a little money and then I get out, and then like a month later, I did this with White Whale. Shout out to White Whale. Guy's a gem. Haven't kept up with him lately, but we chatted before. He is truly a good actor in the space, and I love what he's doing. And I bought some White Whale, and I sold some White Whale, and I bought some White Whale, and I sold some White Whale, and then it went to 100 million, and I didn't have any, and I didn't even have a moon bag. And that is a story as old as time. I think everyone listening to this podcast could just relate to that feeling.
You don't need a moon bag. You can keep entire exposure to the token.
That's it. It solves that dilemma. Like, sure, if it's at peak thing off the floor and you sell, you can get a little more money out than if you just borrow, but you just gave up your whole future upside. And there's some trade-offs there. Maybe it's 50-50. I'm going to sell a bit, I'm going to borrow the rest. Like, the point is, it opens up these strategies where as soon as you get your initial back through borrow, you're on to the next one. And as we know with meme coins, there's always another one. And so you could be basically playing this game, playing through this meta while maintaining upside to every meme you've ever touched after already having recouped initial plus possibly some profit.
But what if there was 2 or 3 even? Let's say like a couple launched, or one launched and then, like, I don't know, half an hour later, another one launched that you're gaining conviction on. Instead of having to dump the other bag if you're low on capital, you can borrow and move into the other. Run that one and see what happens. So there's so much that you can do.
That's another good point.
There are no funding rates. There is no liquidation risk. There's nothing like that. You borrow interest-free and you jump into the next runner. And before you know it, you're managing to use the same capital in multiple places, and you can be convicted. You don't even need to buy something on this. You can buy something on this. It's run up 5x or whatever. You can borrow against the floor and piss off to another Launchpad if you wanted to.
Buy some Bitcoin. Well, I think once you're here, you're not going to another Launchpad, but you're probably going to buy some Bitcoin. You're stacking Sats, you're stacking Sol, stacking Nav Sol, borrowing max against that, stick it into an LP. Like, there is a world of this tech being built right now. Nirvana lives at the center of it. Profits, revenues, all bits from all the things we're building go into ANA, which you can borrow USDC against and go play games with. This game, any other. The point is, once you borrow to exit, you're in the wind. Obligation-free credit has never existed.
There's stuff we haven't even thought of, man. There's going to be people creating bots for all kind of weird and wonderful strategies.
Yeah, I'm excited to get this into the wild just to see the things that people smarter than us come up with, because we're just scratching the surface. The point of today was just to be like, hey guys, it works. And I want to point out one thing, because this idea that something can't be liquidated, it's, you could show somebody 1,000 times and they still don't believe you. They're like, nah, there must be some solvency point that, you know what I mean? But just to reiterate, earlier on our second demo just now, you deployed, you max borrowed all the way up, and then all of us sold entire supply around you. We nuked the floor, nuked the floor, nuked the floor. Did you get a warning? Did you get a margin call?
No calls.
It doesn't exist. There's no liquidation engine because the system knows exactly how much you can have without causing any risk to the system.
Yeah.
And so we literally just proved that, where 100% of the supply outside of your tokens was sold. And even though you had maxed your borrow, there wasn't even a sniff of a margin call or whatever.
The margin call, I could borrow more when the floor rose like into the cells. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, you actually were able to borrow more. And you, not only did you not get liquidated, you got $50, which is your Uber Eats for the night. Uber Eats. I gotta stop.
Didn't get liquidated.
I gotta stop ordering. My wife told me to delete Uber Eats from my phone. She's like, we can still get it sometimes, but you need to stop ordering. Like, like if you want Uber Eats, I need to be your filter, man. We got a side note there. TMI. Okay. Any other final thoughts in the chats? Have we been checking chats? Is there questions we could run?
I have no
5-minute AMA. I'm sure there's a few thoughts and ideas coming through. I don't even know where's the fucking channel here.
I don't see any in the stream.
Yeah, I'll check our Discord. I got a few tags. Yeah, great demos. Yeah, just positive feedback. No AMAs required. Look, you are the first team to get to market, and you're welcome back on our stream. You can run your own stream. We'll join, we'll retweet, we'll support. It's all family here. And if anybody is interested, maybe give them some shouts. How do you follow? How do you follow along on this journey? You should probably have notifications on, because you don't even know the launch date yet, because as dev stuff goes, it's up until the hour. You sit around in a dev circle like tomorrow, and then it's 2 weeks later, and then it's like we got to sleep, and then tomorrow. So
not going to be 2 weeks.
No, I'm just
it's going to be very soon. And our X is rise.rich with the actual letters DOT.
So rise DOT rich.
And then from there, you can click into our Telegram community, etc., and join all that. And obviously, stick your notifs on and see when we're launching and see what's going on. I think it's going to be weird, wacky, and wonderful when we launch, and it's going to be very unknown to 99% of the community, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they react to this floor mechanism and dumping into it and borrows and leverage on something that has a $50 market cap. I mean, what?
Yeah, like second one access to non-liquidatable interest-free leverage. It's going to get really degenerate, but in this way that is not so sad. I think
safe.
Yeah, like one thing that I look forward to is like communities that can form around something positive. Like the meme is like, you're a community member now, and we're all fucking wrecked, and that's what makes you a community member. It's like, hey, let's go to therapy together. Like that's a shitty thing. It's the reality of crypto.
You launch it. Token gets launched, you can buy $50 of this thing, you can leverage it up 3, 4, 5x, maybe even more than that, depending on what goes on, with zero liquidation risk, no funding rates, no ongoing interest, no nothing from day one. It's ballistic. I think it's going to be pretty nuts.
Yeah, and in the absence of future bid, that leverage you just took on does increase your max drawdown, but as soon as the floor eclipses your entry of the net entry of your leverage, you're leveraged and non-liquidatable, but also still able now to borrow out and draw more profit. It's a rabbit hole we can't possibly reach the bottom of today. I think we hit the key points. I'd like to snip and clip this so that we can put out some assets to really like send the message home. You'll see a lot of that over the next week. Tell your friends, call your mom, and let's try to say like, my overarching goal is to just make crypto fun again. Let's build a community around something positive. Let's become community members because we've hit our permanent profit point. The permanent profit point, by the way, is like once the floor passes your entry, you're in permanent profit town. And that can be like a badge of honor you wear. You say, yeah, I hit my permanent profit today. We're rolling. We're community members, but not because we're sad, depressed, and wrecked, but because we've already hit our nut, we've gotten our initial back, we're risk-free. I mean, what better way to rally around memes, which are essentially community-driven vehicles? And it's just turned into a wasteland, and it's made me really sad. And I think it makes a lot of people really sad. So, so what a perfect name, Rise.
Yeah,
Rise.rich. Let's do it.
Yeah.
This has been fun, dude. And the demo worked flawlessly. You ever have that founder fear where you get in there and you're like, I swear to God, if there's a bug, like if there's a failed transaction on this demo, to your guys' credit, this has been smooth as butter.
Responsive, fast, slick.
And despite his greatest attempts, Foxter the bundler wasn't able to extract a goddamn dime from me.
No, look, he became a token savior. Look, we went up. He realized his mistake and he turned things around for himself.
And every time this shit sells to the floor, it just resets to a new trade for anybody who wants to CTO or just join the fray. Oh,
again,
I'm going in circles. Let's wrap for today. I'm too excited. I think from day one, and this is probably true throughout the community, everyone's thought was like, man, this tech on a fucking Launchpad would be epic. It's the best iteration of this bonding curve tech, the AVM. So thank you for volunteering your time, energy, and stress to putting a really solid team together and a great product together and being first to market. I dare say within 2 weeks, but I'm not allowed to say because it's not my team. But
there's been a few of us again, like Odo, Roro, Odomat on X, Roro, and Matt Paswaf, Jared, Pierre, everyone. We've all been hands on this thing, trying to grow the mind share of this thing before the launch, and we're so close. And again, like the devs have done an incredible job with how slick this is, as you've seen. And we're just excited to see finally people play with this thing and see how different it really is, and how they've just been begging for this product, and now it actually exists. Like, they don't know what they're missing. So
and I'd be remiss to not give a quiet anonymous shout out to your small handful of very fucking astute angel investors, because it's been a tough market to raise in. I can vouch because I tried to help you, and most of the doors are closed, and most of the rest is good luck, best of luck. You know, the world doesn't need another Launchpad, because they don't.
Yeah.
Except for this is not just another Launchpad.
Yeah. I need to interrupt because I don't want to forget Foxter, man. This guy has spent hours and hours and hours of his time beta testing with us, trying to break this thing, actually breaking this thing, finding things that we never saw before, all free, all without any kind of obligations or anything. And I really have to put a shout out to him because we really appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm going to subtext that with breaking things that don't include the floor. The floor, the floor calculus has once it reached through its beta testing pre-nirvana, it has never been broken. Like I said, it's a calculator. So caveat, he found buttons that broke.
Front end.
The calculus is math, and once it's set and tested, it stays not breakable. Math is math. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a long one today. We got an hour and a half. If you stuck around for the whole time, you get 10,000 catch-up points. High five. We don't give away points. Apologies. You know, there's just, well, I think you guys actually are giving away points. I'm just saying.
Referrals coming up.
Yeah, the Nirvana way is like value exists because someone paid for it. We don't pre-mine. You know, we don't have vesting schedules. We don't have extractive early deals that just get in to get out. So, you know, apologies from the Nirvana team. We're doing it the right way. Sorry, not sorry. But y'all do your thing. It's a different project, but we are partnered, attached at the hip. Our infra, your flavor. Really excited for the launch, guys.
Thank you.
Maybe let's have you on for a follow-up post-launch. We'll give it a week. You know, we can unpack all the shenanigans. And in the meantime, anyone watching, you know, now's the time to think up a dank meme, because now you know you can launch it in a place that's actually solving every single problem that has existed in meme coin town for the last 2 years. Ever since some asshole figured out how to solve the game perfectly. And I don't even hate the guy. You know, if it's available to be done, you're smarter than everybody else. Get your nut, feed your family. But good luck extracting from this. Scammers are going to hate this platform. So, you know, you're welcome to join, but good luck.
Cool beans.
Okay. I could go all day, but let's take this offline. Love y'all. Thanks for joining in today. We will be back probably in 2 Wednesdays, but maybe next Wednesday. Stay tuned and follow rise.rich on Twitter. Notifications on, because I don't even know when it's going to launch, but I want to be there for day one.
Cool. Well said. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Adios.
Yeah.